Madams, board members, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations for receiving the district receives $2 million grant through St. Peter's. Congrats. High school making it happen. Congratulations. Schools making the grade in test scores. Great. Right? I've come to talk on behalf of myself. I have been a substitute teacher for several years in Jersey City Public Schools. I live in Jersey City. I am so involved in the community, with the parents, with the teachers. I started my career in McNair Academic. The vice principal, when I started there a couple of months, she told me I had a very good performance at the school, and she told me to call a recruiter by the name of Cheryl. I was new to the school and I never knew this lady. And she told me that we are having vacancies for teacher's assistant in our school, Bernadette, and I want you to get in. And I called in 2007. I called the board and I applied for this position. It took a while for them to call me for the interview. In the meanwhile, so I don't want to give names, the vice principal told me, Bernadette, your name is not on my list, call the board. And, but I know the process takes time, and I said it takes time. And that was over. The positions were filled. I went for an interview and I waited for a couple of months. I got no answer and I called the board and they told me that we're sending you a letter after 3 months, and I got a letter, you've been selected as a teaching assistant. By the way, I have a certificate of eligibility for P3. I have a certificate of eligibility for student with disabilities. I have 148 credits. I have terrific recommendation from my principals, and it's always my principals that send my papers to the Board of Education for a job, not me. I got this letter that I'm selected for teaching assistant. I waited for a job which never came. Again, there was a second selection in McNair Academic, and my name never came, and Ms. Miron was very offended because she wanted to hire me, and if my name had to come at that time, I would be working for McNair Academic. Subsequently, in 2009, I worked as a classroom teacher for many months, and my principal told me that I want to be fair to you, Bernadette, we have your certifications. I'm calling the board and telling them, to hire you. And she called the board, and the board told her in 2009, we have no money to hire teachers. Subsequently, I applied, not me, my principal again, in 2010, there were openings for positions which came to our school, and not me, my principal again faxed my documents to the early childhood department, and she gave me terrific recommendations. The supervisors of the early childhood gave me terrific recommendations, and it's like any and everybody who works in the school had given me these recommendations, and they sent my papers to the board. I was called to an interview, and of course I got a negative reply, and when I asked the associate superintendent what happened, I got great recommendation, I'm doing a great job, I'm working as a classroom teacher, and she told me you don't have a standard certification. Now all the people the people who are honored here today, if you heard carefully, a lot of them have the same certification that I have. And they are all become supervisors and vice principals, but me from 2007, I cannot even get a teaching assistant position. Now what happened is that recently in August, I was called to an interview, a final. And I did very well in that interview, and when I came out of the interview, the panelist directed me to go for a written interview to Ms. Pam's room, and while she took me there, she told me that, Bernadette, you did very well at the interview, and we hugged each other. That was just in August right now. And I was very hopeful of getting this position, because, by the way, last year I worked in the pre-K as a classroom teacher. The lead teacher came in 10 minutes. She trained me in the computer while my class was on.
Thank you. I'm sorry your time is up. You can speak more about that than Dr. Epps or whoever else. But thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this time, that's the last speaker.